Good morning, everyone. Nathan here from All Properties Group on the Gold Coast, live, of course, with our weekly market wrap on the Gold Coast. I'm going to talk to you about what I'm sort of seeing out there for buyers and for sellers right now in the marketplace, as well as I want to talk about the list now launch later strategy for those that might be considering selling either now or in the new year. I want to talk about why that might be important, why you should consider it, and the potential of working with you as well. But let's start with the market, right? So today I've got an auction out at 28 Saraba Way in Pimpama. Interesting campaign. We've been on the market for 4 weeks, and every second week we've had an influx of inquiries, an influx of inspections. But those other 2 weeks in between, we've had very little inspections and very little inquiries. It's been quite up and down, which sort of follows the trend of what I'd be saying is the marketplace right now, which is a bit of a roller coaster up and down every single week. But the auction's at 12:30 today on site. We are expecting a great number of buyers and also locals coming to this auction to see what's happening in the marketplace as we start to see buyers and sellers now adjusting and realizing that the marketplace we're in is probably where it's going to be and stay normal for the foreseeable future. And that should be a good auction. So I'll keep you posted on the result, whether we pass in, sell under the hammer or no results, and we'll go from there. But the marketplace last week, we've had a few different properties launch, we've had some sell, and we're finding that the lower end of the market, so that sort of $500,000 to $600,000 range, continues to perform, and that's been historically how it always has been. Because when finances get tight for buyers, they revert back to we need to own a home because that's the smartest and logical option versus renting in this marketplace. But we don't want to overstretch. So that 500,000 to 600,000 is a happy median when people have got 10, 20, 30% deposit and their repayments are quite low, even as interest rates rise. And it's a very saleable product. So when the interest rates normalize and financials get back on track again with inflation and all those sort of things, it's easy for those buyers to sell the property again to increase their borrowing capacity to where they really want to be, which is a bit harder. We're also noticing that anything in that mid-range, so 700 to 900,000, there's still a good level of buyers, but there's a level of pickiness, right? So there's more to select from between 700 to 900,000 than there has been for quite some time, especially on the Northern Gold Coast. We're noticing a lot more listings around the Coomera, Upper Coomera pocket. Pimpama outside of Gainsborough Greens has had an increase as well, but within certain pockets, there's still a lack of stock. And that means that it's taking a little bit longer for properties in that price point to sell. And it's not because prices have dropped dramatically or anything like that. It's just because when buyers have more to select from, they can weigh up all the options before they make offers. In that time, they might lose a property, but they know there's going to be another one, because it's not like COVID where they were having 5, 10, 15 buyers inspecting a property. They can take their time now and wait. And then we've got the mid-range luxury. So that $1 million to sort of $3 million range at the moment is quite slow, right? There's still buyers out there, but that $1 million to $3 million has been hit probably between the 10 to 15% decrease in prices, which when you think about it is anywhere from 100,000 to 300,000 instantly, right? So in that range, buyers are going, well, maybe we could hold off and there might be another 10%. And that means they can buy in this area versus where they were compromising at certain times. So we'll watch that very closely. I'm also aware in that range of buildings. So for example, in Calypso Bay, Coomera Waters, Hope Islands, a lot of builders at the moment, owners building at the moment are struggling to continue with that build process as they rise 30, 40, 50% in costs, and the wait game just keeps on dragging out. So we're finding a lot of those blocks of land is going to be coming to the market, like 127 Paradise Parade in Calypso Bay coming to the market with me tomorrow for an auction in December. Another one of those examples at that sort of way of a resale block. So that's all interesting stuff, but let's talk about selling for a second, right? We know that the market is what the market is, right? We know that all of us that hadn't sold in that February to March period have missed the peak. What that doesn't mean is that you're going to lose substantial amounts of money. What we're finding is that buyers are still out there and they will buy a home that's presented well and that's priced to sell as long as there's a lack of competition. So what we're doing at the moment, we did this during COVID actually last year, especially myself anyway, was the list now launch later strategy. And what that basically means is if you're thinking, I'm going to be selling early 2023, the best bet is decide on an agent, hopefully that's me, but decide on an agent, sign the paperwork, get the photos, get the videos, get the floor plan done, everything prepared before Christmas. And then you hit launch the first week of January. What that means is we're going to have a lot of families up here from interstate, a lot of expats arriving from overseas that are going to be looking for properties in their downtime up here. Christmas time, obviously, they want to spend the time with their family. They'll go shopping. They'll do all those sort of things. But as of after New Year's, they're all back out there and they might have an extra week or 2 weeks of holidays up this way. It's just to look for properties. And we found that in January last year. I sold a substantial amount of properties in that first couple of weeks of January because we were selling in isolation, not in competition. And what I mean by that is if you're listing a property in the peak markets of selling, so the spring selling season, okay, of course, is usually where we see an influx of stock, but obviously an influx of buyers to make up for that. But what happens is usually there's more properties for people to choose from. Whereas in January, we find a lot of sellers hold off. They have this feeling, they have this thought that they're too busy, that there's going to be less properties in the market and less buyers. But what it actually is there's more buyers, but they're right, there's less properties on the market. So if we list now, get everything prepared for a launch in January, that allows us to list a property where there's very little other competition. So buyers, serious buyers, will be looking only at your home, which should increase the opportunity to sell at a very good time at that point. If we get multiple buyers, that creates that competition. There's your premium price we've all been chasing for the last 6 months since the market has changed. If you want to talk about your area and whether that's suitable for you, what that looks like time frame wise, cost wise, what the best process to sell, auction, private treaty, expressions of interest, get in contact. 0407 760435 is my number. I've got a lot of experience in multiple different methods of selling properties, waterfront homes, acreage, anything around the Gold Coast at the moment that you're looking at selling. I'm the guy to help you. Talk soon.